You're mute. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hi, sorry, we are just now getting started. We had a little mic problem. We're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. Christina Vallejo.
Hey guys, I'm Christina Vallejo. I teach 8th grade math at Live Oak Junior High.
And my name is Colleen Holman. I am a numeracy and literacy coach. I work with special education teachers and 0-year teachers or any new teachers that work in our parish. The purpose of today's training is to show the annotation features in the Zoom and also how you can utilize a Smartboard application in Zoom. That way you can have some different writing tool options if you decide to host a Zoom meeting. Okay. All right. So right now we're going to give you a minute or so to enter your attendance. You can either click on the link or use the QR code. I do know that they are giving some great door prizes and things like that for attendance. So I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds or so you can put your attendance in. I am going to put a banner up throughout the presentation in case anyone comes in late where they can check their attendance later in the presentation as well. Okay. This slide here allows you to access this presentation. If you go ahead and scan the QR code, it will give you our presentation. And if you want a copy of the whole slide deck, you can click here and that will give you a copy. I do have some videos in the presentation that I'm not going to be able to play for you during this time. I just haven't had any luck with playing the videos. They were very, very quiet where you couldn't hear them. And they had a little bit of delay. So if you would like access to those videos, then I do encourage that you either scan the QR code and then you can click on the copy of the slide by clicking here as well. Okay.
So what we're going to talk about in this stream is we're going to talk about annotating in Zoom. We're going to talk about co-teaching on Zoom. And then we're going to talk about Smartboard, which is what y'all are really here to see. So I'm going to show you all the different parts of Smartboard. And I'm also going to show how to convert your Smartboard to a PDF to post on your Google Classroom so that your kids could have access to your lesson. So for co-teaching, what Kylene and I did during summer school is we logged on to the same Zoom. And by doing that, she logged into to my username and password. I started the Zoom and she joined in. And by that, we were allowed to share our screens to get so I shared. And then if you notice on your screen how it says stop share, I would stop share, and then this exact same thing would pop up for Kylene, and she'd be able to share her computer. That way, we could actually co-teach using Zoom, but in different locations, and it worked really, really well. And that's how we did Zoom co-teaching without buying. Even though I know our district is going to help us get the Mac Daddy of the Zoom, but we did this on the free version.
Right. And what's good about the co-teaching option or co-host or signing in on the same account is that both teachers had access to the waiting room. So if Christina was teaching the lesson, I could check the waiting room and check attendance. I could put people in the meeting. That way she wouldn't have to stop every 5 minutes to go into the waiting room and allow someone to come in. And I can also have access to the participants tab. I could mute participants. I could put them back in the waiting room. So the co-host or just both teachers signing into the same account does allow you to have access to the waiting room and the participants tab.
Yeah, the only thing she didn't have access to was the main host was allowed to do the breakout rooms. So I was the only one in control of the breakout rooms. And then when we switched roles the next class period and she was the one who started, she had access to the breakout rooms and I didn't. So that was the only thing that we didn't do together.
And from what I understand, everything I read about the Zoom Enterprise, which is the paid version the parish is buying for us, even as the co-host, when that co-host option is available, the co-host still could not have access to the breakout rooms. So that is one thing that the host has to do. The co-host or the co-teacher does not have access to the breakout rooms. Okay. All right. So right now I am going to dive a little deeper into the annotations options in Zoom. It's very, very easy. It's very similar to Microsoft Word and what they offer. All right. So first off, you will have to enable the annotations feature in Zoom before you host a meeting. I have listed here the step-by-step instructions on how to enable the annotations feature, and I also have a picture for you. You simply click on your account, then setting, and make sure you're in the meeting tab, then scroll all the way down until you see the annotations options. All right. So one thing, like I said, I have to have things listed very step by step. So this is just how to enable the annotations. And one thing about Zoom, in order to get to the breakout rooms, in order to have any of those features, most of the features that you need in Zoom, you do have to enable before you can even see them. So again, the setting tab is pretty important before you go host a Zoom meeting, okay? All right, in order to annotate in Zoom, you have to share a screen. You can share your computer screen that allows you to jump around to any tabs that you may have open. So this one here where I'm hovering over, if you share screen, then like I said, you can go between any tabs you have open, your PowerPoints, a different internet browser that you may have open. They do have the whiteboard feature. This is simply a plain whiteboard that you can then type on. If you had your phone or your iPad connected to your computer, you could show something on it. Here I had a PowerPoint open. If I clicked on it, it would share my PowerPoint. But anything on your computer, you can share in Zoom. Real quick, and then anything that you share on Zoom, you can annotate on. So for instance, this summer, we annotated our Kahoot games. After each question, we were able to use the annotate feature to work out each problem for the students who may have missed it before we went to the next question. So I do love that feature. You can annotate on anything. Now, when we talked about co-teaching, if she had a PowerPoint up, I could still, as the co-teacher, annotate on her screen. And so again, the annotation feature, you can annotate on anything that you share, which is a very good feature. All right, another great feature of Zoom is the students can also annotate on anything you share. Now here I listed the step-by-step instructions on how to enable and disable the student annotation features in Zoom. You can also enable the show names of annotators. This allows you to see who's annotating on your screen. Now, we did have one moment where a kid wrote on our screen and we're like, hey, who did that? And we didn't know who wrote on our screen. So if you enable the names of the annotators, a little screen will pop up letting you know that so-and-so wrote on your board. Now, once they realize that, oh, if I write on her board, she'll know that I did it, they pretty much stop annotating on your board unless you ask them to. So in order to enable student annotations, you would have to click the more here. And then when you click on more, these screens will pop up. Now you have chat, breakout rooms, and all this, but this here where it says allow participants to annotate will give your students or anyone in the your Zoom meeting permission to annotate on your board. And then right below that, it says show names of annotators. And that is where you can see the name of whoever wrote on your on whatever you're sharing. Now, if you decide that for some reason, whatever reason, that you know what, I don't want the kids to annotate on this, then you can remove it, and that's what the second picture shows. So you can click on this where it says disable participants annotations, or if you want to hide names of annotators. The one good thing is that the host does not, their name doesn't pop up. So if the host is sharing and they're writing on the annotate, your name doesn't pop up, so it doesn't get in the way. And when we signed into the same account, my name didn't pop up when I annotated on her screen. But when a child did, a different participant who wasn't logged in as the host or the co-host, their names did pop up. And like I said, once they realize you will know who wrote on your screen, they only do it once you ask them to. So that is how you can enable and disable student annotations on Zoom, okay? All right, here is the video that I have that I'm not going to play right now. When I did a presentation early in the week, we did not have luck with showing our videos. It was very, very quiet. I haven't figured out how to fix that. So again, if you scan our QR code at the beginning of a presentation, I'll make sure at the end I'll put that back up. But anything like that, the QR and the copy, we will gladly, you can watch these videos at your own time, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and dive into the features of the annotations toolbar. So you will see the mouse feature. This is the first one that you will see. This is only shown if you are sharing your screen. So for instance, if you share a dry erase board, that mouse feature will not be shown. The only time you see this mouse feature is if, let's say I'm sharing my screen, and let's say I was using the annotation bar and now I want to go click on a Kahoot. I would have to click on that mouse button before I can go click on the Kahoot tab. So it allows you to leave the annotation tool to go have access to the tabs on your computer. And again, if you are sharing a dry erase board, the whiteboard, you will not have this feature, okay? I'm going to explain the text feature to you next. The text, you would click on text, then you would click on the whiteboard or your PowerPoint or whatever you're sharing, and a little text box pops up. And then you can type in it, what is the main idea? The select feature does allow you to click on the text box and move it around your screen. Now, what's great about the text feature is this format option, which I'm going to show you next. You can change the color of whatever you are typing in the text box. Change the color, you can bold, you can italicize, you can change the size, the font. So again, it's very similar to Microsoft Word, okay? So the next feature I'm going to show you is the Draw. This is the one I think we use the most this summer, teaching summer school. As you can see, when you click on the Draw feature, you get all these options here. The little squiggly line allows you to draw freehand. So I wrote the number 12 using that one. If you think that is a little too thin, you can click on the little thicker squiggly line, and then this makes it look a little thicker, okay? You do have the shapes, as you can see here. These are all the shapes. You have arrows. The straight line allows you to draw a straight line. That was really good if you were maybe graphing something on a coordinate grid, and you can put your, you can press on the coordinate grid at one point and then drag to where you want the next point to be, and you would have a perfect straight line. But these are all the options in the Draw feature, and you can change the colors using the format option, which I'm going to show you right now. All right, so the format option, as you can see, this is what you have that you can change your text box with. You can change the Draw feature with. You do have all these different colors, and you do have the line width. So a lot of times you see, I just keep mine in the middle one because that first line is very thin, where if you want a thicker line, you can. You can also bold, italicize, and they do have different size fonts. It is all very user friendly, and it's also very similar to Microsoft Word. All right, the next one is a really cute little feature called Stamp. With Stamp, you have 6 different stamps that you can add. We didn't use this too much in summer school, but to be honest with you, I would really love doing this in a writing aspect. So for instance, if I was maybe annotating a student's writing, I could put a little arrow to let them know, hey, I want you to look at this. Or maybe a little heart to say, I really love your thesis sentence, or a question mark. I'm kind of confused on what you meant by this. Maybe clarify for me. So these are all little stamps that you can add to whatever you're annotating. And you can also change the color of the stamps using the format tool. So I think that's just a cute little thing that I think the kids would love, liven up your lesson a bit with the stamp features, okay? The next one that I'm going to show you is the Spotlight. I didn't know about this one. We probably saw it during summer school, but again, we were trying to figure out Zoom and figure out how to teach virtually, that we didn't really utilize the Spotlight. I can tell you now, I will definitely utilize the Spotlight in any future Zoom meetings. The Spotlight, they have a flashlight and they have an arrow. What this does is it changes your cursor to either a flashlight or an arrow so the students can see your cursor better. A lot of times I lose my own cursor. And again, if you're a participant in a Zoom meeting, you really kind of lose the host or the teacher's cursor. I really love the flashlight. It is this really bright red dot that follows your cursor, or you can use the arrow. And again, instead of looking for a little cursor, it's this big arrow. So that is something we didn't really use a lot in the summer school, probably because we just didn't see it, didn't have time to really go digging into the annotations toolbar. But it really is an awesome feature. I really do love the little flashlight. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is how to erase your annotations. They do give you a lot of options when it comes to erasing. If you go and click clear, they give you a clear all, clear my, or clear viewers. If you click all drawings, then anything you wrote, you drew, your text box, anything will disappear. Clear my drawings will just clear you, the host, drawings. Now, maybe you were writing on there and a student wrote something on your board, then you would, and if you only want to erase that student's drawings, then you would do clear viewer's drawing. But that is how you can erase. We use the clear all a lot because we just want it to erase our whole board. But if you don't want to erase your whole board, you can use the eraser here, and it works just like an eraser. You click on the eraser, and then you click on the number you want to erase. They do have the undo and redo features, just like on Microsoft Word, where you can undo the last thing you wrote. And if you realize, oh, wait, I didn't want to erase that, then you can click the redo button. So those are just some of the features on how you can erase in annotations. Now, the next and last thing I'm going to show you on the annotations toolbar, I didn't know we could do this in summer school until I really started digging into this presentation, is they have a save option. If you click save, this little window will pop up saying whiteboard saved, shown in show in folder. Now, if you can't find it, like if you save it and you want to go back and look for it, how you find it in your folder is you would go to your little window at the bottom of your screen and scroll all the way down until you get to your Zoom folder. And so your saved annotations from your whiteboard or your PowerPoint would be in that folder. I think that would be great. Maybe if you were having a one-on-one meeting with the student virtually, maybe you were annotating their essay or annotating their constructive response, then you could save that and say, look, this is what we discussed, and you can shoot that little saved folder, their whiteboard, to their Google Classroom so they can have it for themselves. So these were all features that they do offer on the annotations toolbar. So the last thing is the video. In this video, I have step-by-step showing you what it looks like, how you can easily maneuver between the different tabs in the annotations feature. Again, if you took a picture of the QRL, which we'll show it before we get out the meeting today, you can have access to these videos. But what I would recommend is you create a Zoom account and host a meeting and just play with it. If you want to see what the students can annotate, I would steal my daughter's phone, make her log into my Zoom meeting, and then I'll be like, all right, see if you can write on it. And that way I could see how her name popped up. Or I would be like, okay, see if you can erase what I wrote. And it kind of gives you an idea of what you can do and also what your students can do if you allow them to annotate, okay? So that was real quick, a very short little tutorial on the features that are in annotations. Christina's going to now show you the Smartboard app. But again, I really want to reiterate, I'm a SPED teacher at my heart. If you have a co-teacher and the lead teacher is using Smartboard, the co-host can still use the annotation features on the Smartboard app or on the PowerSchool app. So even though we use Smartboard to teach summer school every day, we were still annotating every day using the annotations features because I was able to annotate on her Smartboard. And then when I shared a Smartboard, she was able to annotate on it. So you can use both of these features together, okay? All right, so now Christina's going to go over the Smartboard options.
Okay, so those of you that were trying to get the link online, you can't click on the link while we're in live mode, but I did copy and paste the link on the chat. So if y'all copy, you could click on that, or you could copy and paste. Wait, hold on. I pasted a link. Okay, so we'll fix that. I'll fix that. And then that way we can get this to you so y'all can have it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the Smartboard. What the hardest part about Smartboard, honestly, is getting it downloaded to your computer. In order to do this, to make it happen, you are going to have to ask your tech person to log it, to download it, because with all the viruses, we have so many protective things in play. And so, we want to make sure that we're not downloading anything. So we have to go to them. You want to make sure you're downloading the Smartboard 11. Not the newest version. If you have the newest version, we don't have the license to that, and you're going to have a watermark, which you cannot hide and you can't get rid of, and it's very annoying. And then you'll have to go through the process again with eliminating it and re-downloading it. So just knowing from my experience multiple times, please download the Smartboard 11. Okay. So if you just logged in and haven't had a chance to sign up for attendance, we want to make sure you're in the drawing. So please go ahead and if you see the banner at the bottom, go ahead and get your attendance in. So that way you're accounted for this meeting and you can get into the drawing. Okay, so now you can see my Smartboard. So this is Smartboard 11. And I'm going to basically go through as many little quick tools that are very helpful for me. If you need to know any more, we could always one-on-one or Zoom and go through several other options. I'm just going to show you kind of the basics. And to be quite honest, when I'm doing my quick lessons, I just love, I guess, the drawing tools, really, because it's so easy and it's very bright on this screen. And you'll see just by drawing something, it's bright in your face. So it's not like I'm videoing a notebook, I'm videoing a whiteboard in my hand. And I just like the aspect. I teach with this in my classroom, even without a Smartboard. So let me just show you a few basics, okay? So if you notice my tab on the left side, when you click on it, it's going to show you my slides, okay? You also have this slide where you can add. I love to add timers. Why? Because we need them to keep us on track. So I can put my timer and I can set it. And that way, if I have a break, if I'm in the middle of my Zoom meeting, I have a break, I'm going to set my timer so I can hear an alarm. I use my timer often. I actually use it every day. If you want to insert links, you can insert links also. I probably won't, I won't be doing that on any live. I usually do it for me. If I have a YouTube or something that I want to show and link it, it's mainly just for me. So I have it for next year and I know how I taught it. This little tab right here will help change the color and the background of your page. And so, you know, I don't know why it's not working, but that's okay. That's what technology is all about. So, and honestly, with Smartboard, it was fun just to play with. And that's what this technology is, honestly. It's just we have to experience it to be able to understand and know, you know. So feel free to download it and play with it. And if you don't like it, I mean, it's not going to hurt anything, you know. So up here, you've got your add a page, and then you have your delete a page, okay? So I added it, and I deleted it. You have save, because we have to get used to Google Classroom saves automatically. These really don't. So I want to make sure you understand. These arrows go back and forth from slides. Then you have your forward and backward. And then this screen is what I like too. So I can either go full screen, where it covers most of my stuff. I escape it to get out. I I could fit the entire page if I want to show everything. And what I love is I can show 2 pages at once too. So if I wanted to show questions and answers on the other page, I could do that during my lesson. Hey guys, check your workbook, check what we did. You know, anything to make it a little easier for us, especially if we're doing quick little videos. Pause the video and check your work. I'm all about, you know, making it easy and easier for me. So I'm gonna go back to single page and entire page. So let's play with the pen. I want to show you all the different things that my pen can do. This is my favorite part. So obviously I've got to where I can write. You have your main colors up here, but me being very colorful, I love to choose the colors that I have in my box. I also create my own. And so, I mean, it's just like any drawing program you have on the computer. You have lots of different colors that you can use that, you know, so I like to make it fun. Okay. I also can change the thickness. In math, this is what I love because I have to do number lines all the time. So here's my number line. It has a point. I have arrows on both sides, and I didn't have to draw my arrows. It just made it neat, right? You also have your eraser, and notice how fast I'm going in between things. So I'm basically teaching while I'm talking with you, and I can go back and forth between things very quickly. That's what I love about it also. You also have the highlighter. So you can highlight things. I like highlighting in math, key points, key numbers. I highlight, and once again, I have different colors to choose from, different thicknesses if I wanted to change thicknesses. We had talked about, what was that, the flashlight tool that you had? Well, one of the cool things is there's a magic pen. Okay, so the magic pen has 2 different things. So first I can write on it, and if I want my kids to pay attention, if you notice, it goes away. And so that, to me, I would use that tool just for a visual to see if they're paying attention, to get their attention. And then, you know, they're like, what happened? Where did it go? I could also take the same pen, box something, and it's going to make it bold, and it's going to pull it out big. So I use that actually quite often if there's a point or there's something that I need them to get now and they're missing. I'll do that, and it pulls it out. Oh my gosh. I mean, you know, kids like this stuff. I mean, they like anything that's different, unusual, and they like to watch us having fun, right? This is probably one of their favorites if they ever play on the Smartboard. And those of you that have ever had one, you know your kids always love this tool because of the pretty colors that they have. So if I'm showing something new, sometimes I'll use these pens, and I'll change the thickness so I can actually write on it. And they enjoy seeing color. So these pens are fun. I mean, no other reason, just to be fun. But the other pens I actually use quite often. Okay, so that's talking about my pens. I like fonts, and so those of you who go to, like, you know, free font and download your free fonts, they'll show up here too. Because my computer was reimaged over the summer, I don't have any of my new and cool, I don't have all of my new and cool fonts, but I do have some of them. And so, so when you download your fonts, you can type, well, of course it didn't work for me, but you come in here and you pull up your, I'll have to wait, your fonts, and you can pull it up and type in your cutesy fonts, because we like to be cute. And, but I'll say it again. You do not need a Smartboard for this application to work, by the way. So I'll make sure I say that many times, because the application, to me, was phenomenal. So even without the Smartboard, I would rather, and I could bring this to my house. I taught on my Smartboard, and so did Kylene over the summer. And this is how we did it. So if we're if there's a slide and my kids aren't getting it, I would go to a brand new slide and start writing. And we didn't need a smartboard because I don't have a smartboard at my house. So, and I don't know why it's not working right now. Give me a second, guys. Okay, there we go. So this tool was awesome for a mathematical person because I'm always needing to do exponents, especially in 8th grade. Like we have exponents all the time. And I was getting really tired of changing the size and then meshing them together. But this right here, it allowed me to do my superscript. And so that made me so happy. So I could hit superscript and then hit it off. And oh, now it's working. Awesome. Okay. So that just shows you my fonts and how that works. And obviously you can change your color and stuff like that of your fonts as well. You've got your shapes that you have. And of course, click here, you have a few more shapes. I use these often, so I don't have to draw them myself. And then you've got more shapes here. In 8th grade, I didn't need to use a lot of those though. My line, that helps you make a straight line. And I don't know why that got my, my kids like, wow, you're so amazing. And you can draw a straight line, but you can. So you could change the color and you can also here where you've got your arrows. So as a math teacher, I love the arrows because I need the number lines all the time, especially with slope this year and things like that. Okay, so how can you spruce up your lesson? Well, there's various ways you can deliver your lesson. There's various ways you can deliver answers. So I just kind of compiled a few things to show you. So one way is you can hide it. And I used this tool, which is your screen. And you can pull your screen down. You can pull it in either direction, okay? So that's one way that I do it. Or I might want to have several problems in one board, and I don't want to do, I don't want to show them all at one time. So I use the screen often when I teach. Or maybe I have my work underneath it, you know? Another thing is you can hide it with a box, and by coming over here to this little these little icons over here, you can put you can add to your box. So by clicking on it, you can flip it, you can order it, but you can change the properties of it. So if you go to object animation, just like you do in PowerPoint, you can change how you want it to do. So that's what I did with this one, is I said I wanted it to fade out when I click on it. If you didn't want to go through all that, and I can break this down to you if this is something you want, but honestly, what I do most of the time is I make a box. And then all I do for the box is I just move my box out of the way. And that is one of the easiest. And that's what I love about Smartboard, because I can move so many parts and pieces. While I'm teaching, it's very quick. And so that's kind of what I did here too. There's several times where I might have worksheets and my little answers are off to the side with stars, or hearts where I got from the shapes. And when you group them together, you can hide it, and that way they're movable. I change my page colors if I'm going to, if I have a big lesson and I want to break it up, and there's several reasons why I might do this, because when I look over, it's easy for me to go from day to day. I do a week at a time, or lesson really at a time. And so I like to break up my days with page colors. It just makes it easy for me. And that way I can have fun with my font colors and things like that. And that's honestly just coming over here to your little colored icon and changing your color. You can come down here and it changes the horizontal. You can change it to vertical. And honestly, guys, it's just having fun and making it fun for these kids. I mean, that's honestly why how I do things when I teach. And finally, the last thing I kind of really want to talk about is cloning. We want less work. When I have to do exponents and I have to either write the number several times and I want to show a visual for these kids, and they can even come to my computer and do this because that's what I do. So I'm going to show you. So I'm going to draw the number 5, but I'm going to make sure my subscript is off. Hold on, let me do it again. It keeps, there we go. So I'm going to show you I have a 5, and I'm going to put my subscript on so y'all can see how that works like that, okay? And I want to demonstrate exponents for my kids. So I cloned my 3, okay? And this is what it does for me. I can pull out several 3s. And so when I tell my kids, okay, how many 3s do I have? And I'm looking at my exponents, and I have that 5. So I'm going to show you how I cloned it, okay? So when you right-click, take that off, there we go. When you right-click on it, you've got options on any drawing that you do, any drawing, or any numbers, or any words. You can clone it, and that just duplicates it. You can infinite clone it. So when you infinite clone it, you can pull, whoops, let me put my, there we go. You can pull out as many 3s as you want, okay? In order to get rid of it, you just click off infinite cloner, okay? But then you've got paste, delete. You can lock in place to where no one can move it. Sometimes I do that with pictures. You can flip it. If I'm doing multiple things, you can order it. And a lot of these things you have seen on PowerPoints. Okay, so most of you are familiar with a lot of these. I just tried to find the tools that are not, that you don't normally see. And so that was kind of, so Kylene showed you the annotation, and I wanted to show you all the things, or the basics that a Smartboard can do. And it happens, you know, you can either do it before, obviously you plan your lesson and you put a lot of this stuff on before, but you can do this while you're teaching too. And if you saw, it didn't take any time. And sometimes we have to think on the fly and we have to add slides on the fly. And I love Smartboard because I can do it so quickly during my lesson if needed. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. So I have this lesson and I did it live, or I videoed myself, but I want these kids to have this lesson. So I'm going to come over to File, okay? And we are going to export. I'm going to export this because I want to make it into a PDF. And you're like, well, golly, but look at all those things. I can do a PowerPoint. Okay, so if I tried a PowerPoint, which sounds really amazing, it won't actually let me do a PowerPoint because it says I must install Visual Basics. Well, I have to talk to my tech person about what that is because I tried to look for Visual Basics and I need permission to download it. So I said, you know what, I could do a PDF. So that's what I ended up doing. Because with a PDF, you have your options of doing all the thumbnails. You could do thumbnails with notes. So you might want to do this if you want them to work it with you. Or you could do the full page, okay? So we'll just do this one. And I don't want to header unless I said like first day. It's going to save, and it's going to ask me where I want to save. So I'm going to allow it to save on my desktop. Okay. So that's how easy it is to convert it to a PDF. So it's converting right now. Okay, and it kicked me out. That's totally fine. So I love technology. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into a class. So now y'all all have my, my classroom. I'm going to go into my practice class. Okay, how can I upload it? So I know where it's saved. And so now I'm going to upload it because I want my students to be able to see it. So when I create, I'm going to make it materials. And I'm going to tell them that this is my materials wherever I'm saving it. So when I go to add, I'm going to link it to I'm going to go to my file. And I want to upload because it's not on my Google Drive yet. So when I hit browse, it's going to let me go to my desktop, and I saved it as Prez. And so that's how you upload it, okay? And then you could click on what topic you want to put it under and then post. And so that way your students can pull it up and they can see your presentation. Okay, yeah. All right. There we go. All right.
All right, there we go. All right. So Christina did a great job showing you Smartboard, and I know she showed you how to save it, make it to a PDF, and also how to add it to your Google Classroom. The next couple slides in our presentation is just showing you pictures of how she actually did that, how she export, how she went to PDF. So that just kind of shows you exactly what she just did live, okay? So now we are ready for any questions and answers. So we're going to look in our chat. I know that the link wasn't working, but I did add the link into the comments, and I did hear that it was working. So if you have any questions for the Smartboard or to the annotations tool, just let us know. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. All right, I know there is a huge 30-second delay, at least a 30-second delay doing the StreamYard. So if you do have any questions, we are going to put our emails up at on the last line. So you can go ahead and email either Christina or I directly any questions. Christina is the guru when it comes to Smartboard. So I would probably recommend that you ask Christina about the Smartboard questions. I can easily help y'all with the annotations, or even if you have any questions about Zoom in general, breakout rooms or anything like that, I would be happy to help. All right, our next slide is the survey. You can see we have our little drop mic moment there. You can either click on the board to complete the survey, or my son, who is our tech person here today, is telling me the board may not work. So you can use the QR code.
Because we're live.
Oh, because we're live. Okay. So you can, I'm glad I inserted those QR codes. Okay. So you can use the QR code to download the survey. Okay. I'm going to leave this slide up just for a little bit. Okay. And our last slide is simply our email addresses. So again, I'm the only Holman, so if you type up Holman, well, actually, you may get my children, but Colleen Holman's at lpsb.org, and the same thing, Christina.Vallejo at lpsb.org. We will be happy if you need us to send this presentation to you. If you have any questions or anything else, feel free to shoot us an email. Christina, anything you want to add?
No, just we're here for y'all. So let us know, and we're willing to do whatever it takes, because that's just what we do.
Yeah, and we're learning together. So I did not know Smartboard at all until this summer when Christina's like, hey, I want to use Smartboard. And I'm like, great, I don't know it. But it is very easy to program, and I was able to learn it very quickly. So hopefully you enjoyed the little presentation. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us, okay? All right, thank you, ladies.
Bye, guys.